Okay. I'm live. I'm just waiting for someone to show up. Oh, shut up. Alright, so today I'm going to be doing something slightly different. I'm going to be doing my makeup during the stream today because I feel like it. I was going to do my makeup at this point anyway in the day. Hi Kitty, I'm glad you could make it so early today. And then, hi Miriam, hi Keisha. So I was gonna do my makeup today, right now anyway, and then Chris was like, well, I'm gonna eat lunch, and then we were gonna leave. And so I was like, oh, because he wants to use the computer for the rest of the day, and so I wasn't really gonna have an opportunity to live stream, so I'm like, I guess I'll do it right now, but I might as well do my makeup now as well anyway, because I just really feel like doing my makeup. Hi Diana. I don't know, I was dealing with some like pretty bad anxiety and depression at the beginning of July and like the end of June. Not like pretty bad depression, but just like a little bit, and then pretty bad anxiety, and so I just wasn't feeling like doing my makeup. Like I wanted to, but at the same time I just felt like a piece of crud. And then we went to the beach for like a whole week, so I didn't wear makeup for that whole week. And then I've been sick ever since I got back from the beach, so that's been 2 weeks, and I just really feel like wearing some makeup today because it makes me happy and I love doing makeup, so that's why I'm doing that. Anyway, I'm totally spoiling everything I read this week. When's the last time I live streamed? Does anyone remember the last book I talked about? Was it Dutchess by Night? Did I talk about that one yet? Anyway, that's fine. I did get a lot of reading done this week, but I'm not super like thrilled about like the quality of books. It's gotten better over the last like day, but it wasn't great. Well, I don't think you'll learn anything new from me. I don't think I have the best techniques or anything. I just do it because it makes me happy and I enjoy doing it. I have no problem not wearing makeup. Like it's not like a self-confidence thing necessarily. It just makes me really happy and I have so much fun with it, which is why it's been really bumming me out that I haven't worn makeup at all in like the past month. Anyway, I don't know if I talked about reading this book or not. Let's see, the last time I live streamed was that last Sunday, so the 29th, and I finished this on the 27th, so I would have talked about this one already. Anyway, Dutchess by Night. I read it. I liked it. It was fun. Okay. This one I finished on the 31st. Okay, so this is the book. The book that it's really cute. Okay, so I don't know if you guys are familiar with this series of books. They're the Goodnight series, and there was like Goodnight Boston and things like that. There's Goodnight Fairies, Goodnight like Ocean, Goodnight like everything. There's more and more coming out constantly. Like this is a pretty frequently updated series. It's like a board book series, and I've read the fairy one and it was really cute. It was cute, but I didn't like love the art. I loved the art in this one. The Goodnight Baby Dragons had adorable art. It was really engaging. That little blue dragon was my favorite, and it's just like really cool dragons, and I really liked it. Okay, let's see. Okay, so this particular series doesn't have Boston, I lied, but it has Goodnight New York City, Goodnight Beach, Goodnight Chicago, Goodnight America, Goodnight Maine. Oh, it does have Boston. I didn't lie. Goodnight Boston, Goodnight Michigan, Goodnight California, Goodnight Washington, D.C. You get the point. But then they've been doing more interesting ones recently that aren't just like states and cities. And they're not the most inspired books. But this one particularly caught my eye because the art was so cute. No, it's not Goodnight Moon. That is a different author. Anyway, I don't know. Let me know if you guys want to know what products I'm using. Otherwise, I won't mention it and I'll just talk while I'm applying it. But if you guys want me to mention the makeup, I will. It's your call. I'm fine with it either way. Saying goodnight to literally everything. So, this is, I don't know, it was just really cute and fun. And, I mean, it took me like 2 minutes to read, but I loved the artwork in it. It was just adorable. And I'm a sucker for anything with dragons. Man, my neck really hurts right now, so that's nice. Okay, so let's move on to the next book. I finally freaking finished European Travels for the Monstrous Gentlewoman. This is the second book in the Extraordinary Adventures of the Athena Club. The first book in this series is the Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter. And I really like the sequel. I was like debating about what to give it, and I just decided to give it a freaking 5 stars. I don't know. I didn't like it as much as the first one in some ways, but I liked it better than the first one in some ways, so I figured I'd just give it 5 stars because even if it's not maybe necessarily a complete 5-star read for me right now, I think it will be in the future. I really like this. It was so fun. Like, it's a freaking long book. You saw that on Twitter. Yes, I'm really glad I finished it too. This was the last book I needed to finish for my Owls readathon. Like, if I didn't finish this, I wouldn't have finished that owl. This is the last book I needed to get my 12th owl. So I'm really glad I finished on the 31st. But I just enjoyed this so much. It's a really long book, and for being such a long book, a lot of it is very slow-paced, which, I don't know. Usually to keep people, like, engaged for long books, there's a ton of stuff happening all the time. So much of this book is, like, sitting around, talking, discussing things, drinking tea, drinking coffee, just, like, chilling out, having discussions, like, so much of this book is that, but that's one of the things I really love about this series, and I didn't have an issue with it at all. I know I saw other people's reviews going like, wow, I wish this book had more action, blah blah blah, but I loved the amount of action. It wasn't like crazy, but there was some, so it was like engaging, but I just loved having my favorite characters sit around and drink coffee. It was great. Mary's addicted to coffee in this, and she talks about drinking it all the time, which I found really funny, and I just really, really enjoyed it. The cover is beautiful. Leanna, I don't recognize you, but hi, welcome. I don't know if I've ever seen you at a live stream before. I don't know. Are you a lurker, or is this one of your first live streams that you've caught? Anyway, hello. No, Libby, you didn't really miss anything. I just talked about one book, Goodnight Baby Dragons, which was really cute. The premise is awesome, and this book brings in elements, which they allude to it a little bit in the first book, but this brings in elements of, because it's a retelling of a bunch of, like, classic science fiction literature, this brings in a little bit more, like, fantasy or whatever, but it brings in Dracula, and it also brings in Carmilla are the two that I recognized. I don't know if there's more that I just completely missed because I'm not as educated in that genre as I'd like to be, but it did bring in those two elements. So if you want to read some Carmilla fiction where it's very blatant, the undertones of that book are very blatant and out in the open, you might be happy about this book. I still haven't read Carmilla or Dracula because I'm a piece of crap, but they're both books that are on my TBR and that I will be getting to before the third book in this series comes out. It's going to be a trilogy, so before the next book comes out, I'm going to reread Frankenstein, reread Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, freaking finally read Rappaccini's Daughter. I just read Island of Dr. Moreau, and I don't love Sherlock Holmes, and I just read those as well, so I'm good with those. And then I need to read... This book is adding so many books to my TBR, and then I need to find out if there's anything I'm missing, because those are just the ones that I, an uneducated loser, picked up. So I need to see if there's anything else that I'm missing, and then we'll see if there's more books that get added to my TBR. Basically, this book is just making me read more and more books. I might dislike Dracula, but I don't know. Also, I know a lot of people who get irritated with non-feminist works who do really like Dracula and like can appreciate it for what it is, and I'm hoping I'll be one of those people, that I'll be able to be like, see the faults, but also just deal with it and enjoy it anyway. I'm hoping that will be me, but more likely than not, I'll get really annoyed, because that's what I do. I don't know, we'll see. We'll see if I end up loving or hating or just being indifferent on it. But Chris, I don't know if he wants to reread it with me, but I'll probably try to get to it in October. Yay. Okay, so I'm just so glad, and I enjoyed this one so much. Again, some things I liked better, some things I didn't like as much, but it was so fun, and it was great. Okay, next book. So now we're getting into the NEWTs Readathon. I'm not actually counting this book because I DNF'd it, and I don't want to count DNFs, or at least like really early on in the book DNFs for NEWTs, because I feel like that's kind of cheating, like taking your exam, DNFing in the book that you're taking for your exam. Like, that feels like kind of cheating to me. So I'm not going to count this one, but this is Kiss of the Spindle by Nancy Campbell Allen. This is the second book in the proper romance steampunk series by her. The first book is Beauty and the Clockwork Beast, which was a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I liked that one. It didn't wow me, and it didn't like leave a huge impression on me, but I read it back in 2016 when it came out, and I enjoyed it, so I wanted to continue on with this one. It was a book that I was anticipating. I didn't love it, obviously. I DNF'd it. The characters were really dumb, and I had a big issue with the, like, Prince Charming character. He really crossed a line that I couldn't forgive him for. She tells him something very secret about herself that she doesn't want anyone else to know, and specifically tells him that. He immediately lets someone on in the secret, like, that day, and then the next day tells everyone on the ship, they're on, like, an airship, tells everyone on the ship, it gathers them together, tells them, makes her come into the room without, like, warning her and being like, oh, I told everyone your secret. And then she's just like, okay, I understand you're trying to look out for me, so that's alright. And I was like, what? No, he just really crossed a line for me. He needs to respect her, and he doesn't. And there were just some other things he said and did. I really don't like him. I really didn't enjoy this book, so I DNF'd it, like, I don't know how far into the book I was. I don't know if I said 33%. So I got a third of the way through. It was really boring, really unengaging, and I really didn't like the main character, so goodbye. The next book in the series that's going to be coming out, it's not actually on here yet, but it's a Rapunzel retelling. I don't know if I'm going to read it or not. I haven't decided yet, because I had issues with this one, and the first one didn't wow me, so I think maybe I won't move on to it, but I guess I'll decide that when it actually comes out, probably in 2019 or 2020. For now, it was just a big old disappointment. Okay, let's talk about another massively huge disappointment. Y'all, I'm really not down for this. So you guys know I've been really hyping up this series over the past few months. This is the Fandom Heart series by Kathy Yardley. This is the fourth book in that series, which is called What Happens at Con. And I've been raving about this series. So the first book, Level Up, I liked, but I didn't love it. And I did like it. It was fun, but... And I thought the 1.5 novella was pretty useless and pointless, and I didn't really care for it, but I really, really liked book 2. What was book 2 called? I'm a trash person, I can't remember. So book 2 was One True Pairing. I thought it was so cute. It's like a celebrity fake dating with someone who's in the star of a show that's very similar to Supernatural, like mixed with the librarians. It was so fun. It was so incredibly fun. And then book 3 was also really, really fun. Game of Hearts. I don't know, it was about this girl who makes cosplays, and she's awesome, and I don't know, I just really, really liked those books, and it made me kind of in love with the series, so I was so excited. I pre-ordered this book. And I really hated this book a lot. Hi, Judith. I know, I made Judith read them. She's read book 1 and 2. Did you love book 2? Did you love book 2? Tell me you loved book 2. I loved it so much. Anyway, I've been hyping the series up and making people read it, and I am so sad to tell you that I just really did like this book. So, what happens at con? I didn't read this premise of this book at all because I figured, I don't know, I like going into books blind and just seeing where they take me, but from what happens at con, you kind of get an idea. And I was thinking, oh yay, a nerdy convention, awesome. Well, it's actually a sex convention, which I was not expecting, but okay, whatever, that's fine. The characters that it's about is about Abraham from the first book, who's a total dick. He doesn't want a woman on his coding team, and he's like really sexist, and so that's nice. And this is about him. So I don't know, I already don't like Abraham, but just the way that the men in these books, yeah, what happens at con stays at con. Yes. Especially since it's a sex con. Abraham's like super sexist, and all the guys in this book are like really sexist, except for the ones that are already like with a girl, or it's like, oh well, if they're with a girl, it's fine, like they're fine and they're not trash humans, but if they're not in a relationship, then they are. And just the way they talk about women made me so uncomfortable. Even the guys that we're supposed to be like rooting for, there's even a character where he's single at the beginning of the book, and then like 2 chapters later he has a girlfriend. He was talking trash about women. He was treating them really disrespectfully, talking about them disrespectfully, and then as soon as he has a girlfriend, he's like another character. He's like all nice all of a sudden, all like, oh yeah, let's not talk about women like that and stuff. And it's not even necessarily that all the characters were talking about women like that, but the ones who weren't saying anything against it. And I really, really just did not enjoy it. I didn't like the characters. I don't really like anything about this book. So, it sucked. Yeah, I haven't been to any conventions yet either. I don't know. I had such high hopes for this. I didn't like the characters. I mean, it does have a woman of color as the main character. It does, I don't know, it does try to like get into Abraham's head and stuff and try to go like, well, this is where he's coming from. This was how he was raised, like in a very like non-politically correct family, like. But at the same time, it really didn't make me feel that much sympathy for him. And I know, but even if that's true, I don't want them to be my heroes in the romances that I read. I want characters that aren't trash garbage in the romances that I read. So, I don't know, that was my thing, is I just really didn't enjoy that character for the role that he was supposed to be playing. Or like, you don't feel like the good guy to me, you just feel like a trash monster, which is what you are. Anyway, I'm gonna try to put some cream highlighter on. It will probably ruin my makeup, but I'm gonna do it anyway because I'm a webble. So I don't know. This book just really didn't work for me. And it makes me sad. Because I liked the guys in all the other books. The guy in book 3, he's like about as manly man as you can get. He's like part of like a biker gang and all this stuff, and he doesn't really know nerd culture at all, and he is just the sweetest little person ever. He respects her, he respects what she's doing, he thinks it's incredible that she's like sewing and making cosplays. He's like, that's amazing what you're doing. And he just, I don't know, like, I know she can write good male characters because she's done it before. I just don't understand why all the guys in this were like trash bags. And then they made a bet on who could sleep with a woman first, which is also just ew. Like, no. Like, they were talking about betting money on it, and then they were like, oh, maybe that's taking it too far. Maybe we shouldn't bet money on it. Let's just bet blah, blah, blah on it instead. And I was just, I don't know. It was just kind of gross, and I didn't like it. So let's move on from this garbage. Now let's talk about another disappointing book. I've had a really bad reading month so far, you guys. Born to be Wild by Eloisa James. So this is the third book in the Wilds of Lindo Castle series. I liked book 1, I really liked book 2, and this book just didn't do it for me. So this is, book 3. This is a series that I definitely recommend you read in order, because it won't make nearly as much sense if you don't read it in order. Just so much of it is built upon the previous books. Okay, my highlight is a little overboard today. That's fine. Oh, I love highlight. Man, I've missed you. Yes. Okay, this is great. I literally have a stripe on my face and I'm okay with it. Alright, so, sorry. Getting distracted. So I definitely recommend you read this series in order, but this is about the brother. Christopher was making fun of the title of this book, and that is one thing that I can staunchly disagree with. I think the title of this book really, really fits what the book is about, because this is about the like Lindo brother that isn't actually the wild brother, that isn't actually like actually a wild. He is more like adopted into the family. So they literally just say, like, you were born to be a wild. You're just, like, part of our family. So I will disagree with, like, the title being cheesy. Like, it works. When you mood read, you always seem to read more. So I think that is, like, the best way to go, especially if you're not gonna be able to read much after that in the next little bit. So this one, I don't know. I had some of the same issues as I did in book 2 as I did in book 3, though. One of the things that really irritated me about book 2 is the guy, like, I don't know if you guys remember me talking about this, but he, like, throws her shoes in the lake because, oh, I don't want you to have those shoes anymore, so I'm gonna take this thing and force you into having no other option but to buy more shoes. And he's like, I'll buy them for you, it's fine, but that's still not his decision. You can't just decide, I don't like your shoes, so I'm gonna make the decision that you're not allowed to wear them anymore by getting rid of them. And it really, really hit me wrong. Yes! I did see that, and I don't know, I'm both scared, but I'm excited, but regardless of if they necessarily do it great, I'm just really, really, really proud of Julie Garwood. Like, she Julie Garwood. I'm such a trash human being. Julia quit. I'm just really proud of her. I said the wrong author. I'm horrible. I'm just really proud of Julia Quinn. She deserves it, and her books are awesome, so I'm glad that she's gonna be getting that. I don't necessarily like book 1 or book 3 of that series, so I will survive if they don't follow them exactly, because, wow. Doing eyeliner is maybe not the best thing to do while you're talking. I might have to take a silence break for a second here. I haven't ruined it yet. Let's see if I can match it on the other eye. Sorry, you guys. I'm sure this is thrilling for you to be watching. You guys, I think that looks pretty good. I'm really impressed with myself. Eyeliner's really hard to do. Okay, that took a second, but I'm done. I think it looks good. Okay, it's even enough. You finished 3 books this week, hoping to finish a 4th book today. Oh my gosh, that's awesome, Melody. Are you seeing Christopher Robin, or whatever it's called? Whatever that movie's called, the Winnie the Pooh movie. I don't even know what it's called. Are you seeing that? Anyway, so that was my issue with the guy from book 3, from book 2, that like he took that initiative and was like, well, I'm just gonna make these decisions for you, blah blah blah. And the guy in this one did the same thing, and he just like does stuff without asking her what she's okay with and stuff, and just like, it just really irritated me. On top of that though, this book is just like about like, this really would count if you want to read a book. Well, one, if you want to read a book about fashionistas at all, read like almost any of Eloisa James's book, because she loves period fashion. So most of them you can read and would count for that, but for the Ripped Bodice book bingo challenge that they have going on, one of the challenges is to read a book about a fashionista. So if you were struggling to find a book about a fashionista, this really counts. All this main character does is talk about clothes. That's all she does. And she ends up making clothes and instructing on how to make clothes, and has like the best taste ever apparently, and all this stuff. And I found it so ridiculously boring. I don't know. I enjoyed wearing clothes, and I enjoy choosing outfits and having fun with that myself. I don't know. I don't have what I guess you would call a conventional style though. I think a lot of the current fashion trends are absolutely hideous. Like, I hate chokers. Chokers are hideous. I don't really like crop tops very much. I hate like all this 90s fashion coming back. Like, I don't like current fashion, and I don't really care about olden times fashion either. I just like wearing what I like to wear, and that's about as far as my extent goes for enjoying fashion. Besides that, the only people I care about who, including their clothes, is like people who do like Disney bounds, I think, is really interesting, but besides that, it just doesn't do anything for me. So I was just so bored. Let's see, you are watching Christopher Robin. Okay, I was right. And The Darkest Minds. Oh, nice. Holy cow. Good luck, kitty. That's a lot of audiobooks. I don't know. Chris really liked the Christopher Robin movie. He thought it was adorable and great, and he laughed a lot through it. He told me, because he went and saw it, but I didn't, because I don't like movies. Oh, thanks for for subscribing, Pamela. Do you have all your costumes and stuff, Diana? Were you able to get that finished up for you and your husband? Because you said you were working on cosplays, right? I don't know. I just found this book really dull. I didn't really care for the characters, and I was so ready for it to be over by the time I was done with it. So, I'm glad it's done. But now we can talk about the good books that I've read this week. Starting off with The Woman Who Smashed Codes by Jason Fagon. This is about Elizabeth Smith. Oh gosh, what is her married last name? Elizabeth, because she got married to a guy. Her name started with an F. Well, I'm a horrible person, and I just read this. Oh well, you can look it up if you want to. Anyway, let's just call her Elizabeth Smith. That's her maiden name. Anyway, this is about this woman who was like instrumental. So The Woman Who Smashed Codes, a true story of love, spies, and the unlikely heroine who outwitted America's enemies. This is about the lady who broke the enigma in America, and who she was a code breaker during World War I and World War II. She was just absolutely incredible, and it's about her and her husband. This was wonderful. I loved it. Okay. Arwen, Genderbent Bilbo, and Johnny Depp's character from Fear and Loathing. And Morticia. Nice. Morticia Adams. That's awesome, Diana. I'm glad you got them finished. Let me see. So Diana, just like I suspected, she has it marked on her to-read shelf, but she hasn't read it yet. Okay. I was just seeing. What's supposed to be a movie soon? Is this book supposed to be a movie soon? Is that what you're talking about? Anyway, I don't know anything about that. I don't pay attention to movies. But this book, I absolutely loved. She was incredible. The thing she did was amazing. The writing itself was really engaging, and it's also a bit of a love story too. Her and her husband's relationship. Oh, I didn't even know that. That's so cool. Okay, well, yay. I'm glad that people are going to be making this movie about her. Or this TV show, whatever. I'm really glad. That makes me super excited, and that will be easier for me to market it at the bookstore, because I'll be like, hey, they're turning it into a TV show. Please read it. I literally spent like 5 minutes at the bookstore yesterday just like telling someone how incredible this book is and how they need to read it. And she was just like, okay, I just wanted something light to read on the beach. And I was like, but it's so good. Please read it. Anyway, she was so amazing. Her relationship with her husband was so sweet as well. He did deal with like mental illness, depression and anxiety his whole life. His depression was really bad. He had suicidal tendencies and stuff, and she was just like stuck with him through the whole thing, and she did like the best thing she could do during the time, which was to pretend like nothing was going on, like he was perfectly like fine, and just like was always so loyal to him. And I don't know, just their relationship was so amazing. Anyway, I just loved everything about her. She was incredible, and everything she did was just, she was brilliant, and I loved it. I lapped up the whole thing. I was expecting to read this over the course of a week, and I read it in 3 days, and I got consumed by it, and it was wonderful. So I really, really loved this, and I recommend it if you're interested in it at all. And it makes me want to read like the book that she wrote now, which was about Francis Bacon and Sherlock Holmes. Oh my gosh, and Shakespeare. About my brain is dead right now, you guys. Excuse me, please. About like if Francis Bacon actually wrote Shakespeare's plays and stuff, and she wrote a book about how that's not true and how he didn't write Shakespeare's plays and how that idea is like really stupid. She wrote, and I want to read her book. She wrote it with her husband, and I just love this. So I did learn about her a little bit in The Code Girls by Liza Mundy, and I did really love Code Girls as well, but I loved this book like a million times more. Like, both of them are 5-star books for me, but this book was just brilliant, and I loved it. Starting August 31st. Okay, I'll definitely keep my eye out for them. Your yard hunt theme this year is the Addams Family. Nice. And I don't know. I'm trying to see if he's like written anything else. He's not written anything else that I may be interested in. Maybe, but they're not like insanely popular, so I'd have to physically read them. But I'll definitely think about putting them on my TBR, but I really, really loved it. Okay, let's talk about some other decently happy things. Okay, so I'm pretty much done with my makeup. All I need to do is put on lipstick, which when I put on lipstick, it means that I can't talk for the next 2 minutes because this stuff takes forever to dry down, but then it doesn't, you can eat anything and it won't budge, so it's like worth it. I'll put it on after. So I'm done with my makeup. So Box of Frogs by Helen Harper. This is the first book in the Fractured Fairy series. I think it's a trilogy. I think all the books are out right now, but this is the only one out on audio so far. Did you read this one yet, Judith? Anyway, I liked it. It was such a bizarre book. It was super strange, and I don't know if I entirely know how I feel about it. It was just, there was a lot going on. It was really weird. The premise of this book is that this girl wakes up next to a decapitated body. She has amnesia. She has no clue who she is. And then these guys are coming after her, trying to kill her. And she realizes that she has, like, some superpowers. So she's like, I must be a superhero. And so she literally goes to a thrift store, buys, like, a cape, a leotard, and, like, shorts, and runs around in an outfit with, like, a mask on, and, like, tries to fight crime. Okay. It's so weird. It's such a weird book. And it's, she almost reminded me of the main character in this. She almost reminded me of like a Sophie Kinsella heroine. Just like the way she acted and the way she reacted to things is so far from what I would do and how I would react. And just the way that her mind works and the places it went to were just so out of left field for me. It felt very, very different. I don't know. She feels like an alien. She really does to me. And that's how all of like Sophie Kinsella's heroines feel to me. the things that they think of and the ways they react are just so, like, bizarre, and that's how I felt about this. So if you like Sophie Kinsella and you want to get into, like, paranormal, I don't know, paranormal romance, sort of, or, I don't know, just, like, urban fantasy, I mean, give this one a try, you might like it. I enjoyed it, but it was really weird, and I just was, like, along for the ride the whole time. I had, like, it was impossible to predict what was going to happen next, because it was just so bizarre. It was fun, but I definitely, if you want to read something by Helen Harper, I definitely recommend starting with Slouch Witch, because that series was really good, and this one was just, like, it was different. It was very different. Okay, next thing I finished. The Adventure Zone, Here There Be Gerblins, by Clint Griffin, Justin, and Travis McElroy, and Carrie Pytich, is that how you say her name, as the illustrator. Hi, Elizabeth. So this is based off of the podcast The Adventure Zone, which I've never listened to. And I've never listened to, they're really popular for their other podcast as well, which is called My Brother and Me, which I've also never listened to. So I was coming at this completely blind. If you want to read it, here you go with of what I'm talking about. The preface, the introduction, was written by Patrick Rothfuss. So if you want to read what he wrote about it, here it is. It's just on Goodreads as one of, like, the top reviews. So if you want to come back, pause this, or just go to Goodreads yourself, here it is. But it was funny because I was reading the preface, or I need to call someone a preface. I was reading the introduction, and it was on one page, and then you flip it, and the second half was on the other page. So I'm reading it, and I was like, wow, this guy's, like, super obsessed with these brothers and with this podcast. And I flipped it, and I was like, oh, holy crap, it's Patrick Rothfuss. It was just kind of funny. I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting that to be Patrick Rothfuss right there. Anyway, I don't know, I liked it. It was super funny. The characters were really crazy. I definitely think I would have liked it more if I had listened to the podcast, because then I would have been coming in knowing more what to expect. It wouldn't have necessarily been new to me, but I would have had, like, the characters, like, voices in my head and stuff like that, and I think that would have made it even funnier. But even not having that experience, I still thought it was really funny and really enjoyable, and it makes me want to go listen to The Adventure Zone now. The characters were super great, and the situations were really crazy, and it was a lot of fun. And there's only one female character in this, but, like, honestly, I don't know, there's one, like, ambiguous character, but then there's, like, one strictly female character in this. She wasn't, like, sexualized at all. She was just, like, an awesome kick-A, like, ogre. Yeah, I think she was an ogre. She was, like, awesome and wore armor and was, like, super beefy and cool, and I was wondering why you called her that, Elizabeth. I was like, is this your new nickname for Keisha? Keisha Sharpener. I was like, okay then, that's fine. Anyway, I still had a lot of fun with it. I read it when I was on register at work last night because it was super dead, so I read through the whole thing in a pretty short amount of time, and I liked it, and now I want to go listen to their podcast, but I can't until September because I have to spend all my listening time almost strictly on listening to audiobooks so that I can get through NEWTs. Because if I don't know, I don't want to, I know that if I start listening to it, I'm gonna get obsessed with it, and I'm gonna want to listen to the whole thing, like, instantly, so I'm not letting myself start it until September. But I'm excited, and there's probably gonna be another issue coming out, and I'm excited for that as well. Also, side note, it hit the freaking #1 spot on the New York Times bestselling list, which I think is awesome. So good job, McElroy brothers, and good job for having that many dedicated fans that it hit #1 New York Times bestseller spot. I think that's incredible. Anyway, I liked it, and I'm excited to learn more about them. Is this a nickname? Alright, and then the last thing, I just finished this like an hour ago. This is A Duke by Default by Alyssa Cole. This is book 2 in the Reluctant Royals series. I really didn't care for book 1. I had some kind of issues with like consent stuff with book 1. But I really liked this one. I didn't necessarily love the plot. I think that's maybe a personal thing, and I think other people would have enjoyed the way the plot went and stuff. But I really loved the characters, and I really loved Portia. I super related to her. I don't know. It was super fun. It's about this... The only thing I didn't like, I listened to this on audio, and the narrator is horrible at Scottish accents. I didn't think they sounded Scottish even remotely. So it kind of threw me out of it because, I don't know, her Scottish accent sounded African to me because of, I don't know, she just seemed to use similar, like, not, it wasn't quite as thick, but there are African characters in book 1 who are then in book 2, like an African prince, and I genuinely couldn't really tell a difference between the accents between the Scottish people and the people from Africa. So the audiobook kind of narrated me, kind of irritated me, but the book itself, I don't know, I just really like Portia. She's such a interesting character, and the things that she said and the way that she felt and stuff, I related to a lot. I literally cried for like a minute straight during this book near the end. I was just like, yes, I relate to this so much, and my poor characters, this is so sad. I don't know, I didn't love him, I didn't hate him, but I really loved her. She really made the book for me, and it was great. It was, because it's like a woman being like awesome and kicking A without being conventionally strong or conventionally like in like a power role or something. Like, she really cares about like art and architecture and stuff like that, and she's so cool. Anyway, okay, so anyway, that's how I felt about this one. I liked it, and if you want to read some like contemporary royals fiction romance, go for it. Also, her dress is really gorgeous. I did listen to an interview about with the lady who made like the dresses for these books, at least the dress for book 1, but I think this book as well, and like, ugh, I want that dress, and her hair is so beautiful. And he's pretty attractive as well, let's be real. So, yeah, I'm really, I don't know, it's great. Oh, hi, Bruna. I'm really close to being done. Oh, look, book 3 got put on here. I'll add it to my TBR. Why not? And those are all the books I read this week. So I did end up DNFing 1 book so far this month. And then I've read 6 so far for this month. I've read 6 in August, which is only day 5 of NEWTs, so I'm really glad about that because I'm a book ahead. Well, technically not. I'm supposed to read 36 books this month, so I should, but I'm just trying to read a book a day because I'm reading kind of some of the longer ones at the beginning of the month, and I'll read some of the shorter ones at the end. So I'm just glad to be on track for reading like a book a day. I'm doing pretty well with NEWTs, thanks. And then I've read 2 other books. I've read 2 other books in July that I finished up. So, I guess I'll update you on NEWTs really quickly and let you know how I'm keeping track of stuff. So, this is my first NEWTs one. This is the column, oops, didn't mean to do that. This is the column that shows like if I've completed stuff or not. So, the green ones are completed, the blue ones are I'm currently working on them. Which means I can change this one to green. So that means so far I have an E in Care of Magical Creatures, and I have an E in Muggle Studies, and that's all I have so far. And I've made progress in Herbology and Transfiguration, but those won't count until I read the other books for those challenges. So that's what I'm doing so far, which I think is, it's pretty good. to have that. I would be further. I would have, actually, I would have Muggle Studies completely done, read a retelling, if I hadn't DNF'd that stupid Sleeping Beauty retelling. That was dumb. If I hadn't DNF'd that, I would have completed Muggle Studies, which was my initial goal, was to complete Muggle Studies this week, but, oh well, I'll just have to read another book for that challenge. So I've moved things around a bit, but this is how I'm going so far. And, I don't know, hopefully next week I'll have an O or two. That would be great. Melody, you could always do owls. You're supposed to do your owls first anyway. Oh, thanks, guys. It's a really easy spreadsheet. If you guys want it, and you can always just tweak it to yourselves. Let's see. Share. Anyone can view. And then you can always... Here we go. You can always copy and paste... You can always copy and create a spreadsheet for yourself out of this one if you want. Just like highlight it, delete, just change everything back to white, and then delete all my books. And go have at it. Over here I have like where things are checked out from, or where I have them from. And then over here I have like options of books, because I've been moving stuff around so far, but this is how it's going. And then this is how I'm keeping track of stuff. So over here I have a list of just all the books without the challenges. The green ones are ones that I've completed or DNF'd and just like gotten rid of. The blue ones are ones that I'm currently working on, and this tells me the dates that they're due, which is very helpful to see. And then these are ones that I haven't checked out yet. I need to update this. It's a little out of date. And then I read what that was I just already owned, and that wasn't a super high priority, which I wish I almost hadn't read because it sucked. Almost wish I hadn't read. And then this is the last way I'm keeping track, is that I have so this is, I have like a minimum goal of what I want to read every day, and then I have a maximum, and a minimum goal, and then a major goal. And so this is my minimum goal, like if I'm not going to complete all the NEWTs, and I'm just going to try to get all the reading done that I need to for the book bingos that I'm participating in for the summer book bingos that I'm participating in, I have to read 6 a day on weekdays, and then 12 a day on the weekends of like hours listened to. So as you can see, like, oh, I haven't highlighted these yet, but this is what I've gotten done today. So like, I've been crushing my goal every day, except for yesterday I didn't. I fell short of my minor goal, but then the other days I think it balances out, so I'm okay. And then as part of my full exam, like if I want to get O's in everything, this is what I need to do. So I'm still beating my goal as long as I get to this line. If I get here, then I've completed my goal. So I was short this day, but I was so ahead these days that it's okay. And then this is how far I am today. And so then I plan out my reading like in advance and stuff, but it's constantly moving and shifting. But I love listening to audiobooks and planning my reading, so I'm okay with it. So then I can also stick summer days and summer nights on there, because I did get through a few more hours of that today. Oop. Let's move that up. There we go. So that's how I'm looking for today. So I only need to listen to 1 more hour, and I will have made my goal for the day. And that's basically my thing, is I just want to hit goals every day. So those are my spreadsheets, my 4 spreadsheets that I'm using to keep track of my goals. She's going to be doing it again next year. The next Owls, I think, is going to be in April again. So you can wait till April if you want, or you can just do it whenever. A lot of people are doing their Owls this month. I did my Owls last month, even though a lot of other people didn't. You can do whatever you want. She said that's fine. Um, yeah, so do for default, then I would highlight it and go, well, I'm done with that, so I can mark it. And then these two I'm working on. And then I've checked out About That Night. I've checked out Landline. I've checked out The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue. And I've checked out The Raven Boys. So I can move those up, and then I need to stick the due dates, which I don't know which day they're due yet. Let's see. In real time planning. Okay, so let's see. They're due in 19 days. Which I don't know, it seems to be off a little bit each time. So let's just say the 23rd. It may be the 24th, but I'd rather hit below than above just in case, so I can stick all of those. They're probably the 24th is when they're due. And then I'm also currently reading Summer Days and Summer Nights, so then I can mark this as blue, as current. I think that's a different blue than this. Is it? Yes, it definitely is. I need a brighter blue. Is it this blue? Oh no, is this the same blue? Oh no, it's definitely not the same blue. Crap. Is it this blue? No. Oh frick. Oh, it is this blue. Okay, that's fine. And I'll move it down here because it's not due at the library because I have it checked out on the Audible romance package. A and E. Nice, Elizabeth. I have a couple books that I need to read on Scribd this month, which is Ghost in the Big Brass Bed, Rappaccini's Daughter, and The Little Prince I'm gonna listen to on Scribd, and then after that I'll decide. I haven't been using it just because my reading's been pretty strict this month. Let me go grab my notebook and I'll be right back. And I'll show, I can't get out that side. Okay, don't make fun of me as I struggle. I will be right back and I'll show you my notebooks, Bruna. Ugh. Okay. Oh, I left my water out there. I'll be right back. Okay. So I have been vlogging this week, my reading, so hopefully it makes it up, my vlog. But maybe expect a vlog sometime next week. Anyway, I've been vlogging. It's probably going to be long, but I've been using this, so you'll see this in the vlog, if it ever gets up. Let me just make myself huge. Okay. So the colors are for like the days that I read them on. So every day I get a different color, and so that's why like there's like this gradient over here and stuff. So that's what that is. And then like I DNF'd this book, so it got crossed out, etc., etc. So every time I start a book, then I like write it in here with the hours. So that's how I'm using my bullet journal right now. I think it's really fun, and it's gonna be a beautiful rainbow at the end. I'm really excited. And then this is something that I would have drawn out if I was a glutton for punishment, but I'm lazy, so I stole someone else. I didn't steal. They put it up there for anyone to use. If you want to find a copy of this, it is linked in April from Aprilius Maximus. Her NEWTs TBR, she has this linked, so there you can find it. But this is all of them, and then when I'm finishing books, when I'm finishing books, I'm writing them in there. This is not completely up to date. I have 2 more books I need to write in. Is that right? Have I finished 5 books or 6 books? I finished 6 books. I need to write 2 more things then. Okay, so I'm behind on this. But it's gonna happen. Anyway, okay, so as I'm reading them and as I'm completing them, I'm writing them in. And then on this one, this is the one that I wrote at the beginning of the month as like my ideal plan. So I'm coloring them in as I go because they're already written in. I think I'm gonna color this one too, but I'm not sure what color scheme I want to go with. So that's what I'm doing with that. And you couldn't find the book. Oh my gosh. Story of my life. Anyway, so that's how I'm going with this, and that's what I'm doing. As far as like planning them out, this is essentially doing what I would be planning in my journal instead, but I'm doing it digitally just because there's so many books that I want to get to, and there's so much, I don't know, intricacy going into this, like more than would be for like my general reading. Like I have a plan this month. I'm not just planning week by week. I'm planning the whole month out at a time. And so like I can't just like casually do it like I would normally. So that's why I'm planning it digitally, but this is how I would set it up. If you guys remember that calendar that I bought with like the different days and stuff and how I had that, this is exactly that, just in a spreadsheet form. Do you guys want copies of this as well to use for your own? Let me know, because it would take a second, and that would save you having to fill out the Sunday the 5th, Monday the 6th, Tuesday the 7th, etc. Do you want one of these? And then you can just delete everything else and put your own books in for reading. Let me know. It would take a second. Anyway, that would be awesome. Okay, and then I don't know, you can just add books on, you can add days onto the end and stuff. Okay, so here's my shareable link. Can view. Okay, so here's that. And in case you aren't sure, like I'm not great at this, in case you aren't sure, you can just go up to File, and then you can make a copy, and then you can do whatever you want with that copy. The link of owls, let me see. Oh my gosh, caps, turn off. So here's the owls. Here's her video about it. Oh, stop. There we go. Oh, okay. I'm still on. I'll turn that off in a second. And then let me get the link of the actual here's the list, which is just in the description of her video. Shoop. Anyway, and so this is the list of things to do for owls, and you can copy this. No, you can't. You can copy this. So you can copy this. But in the first one that I gave you guys, my July TBR like spreadsheet list, I do have a list of the owls. It's the July 2nd to July 29th, which I did the 1st through the 30th first. Who are we kidding? But that has a list of them. I just didn't write down which ones they counted for, so maybe add those in yourself. I didn't do it though, so you might want to add them in here. Basically delete all my nonsense and make it better. Anyway. It's fine. Everything's fine. Anyway, that's how I've been planning my reading this month, and this is what's going on, and I'm really excited. I hope you guys are excited about the vlog. I've been having so much fun vlogging. I miss it so much, and P.S. you guys, Chris is finally editing our California vlogs, so maybe in like September or October, expect those. I know it's a while away, but we probably won't get them posted until then, but he is editing vlogs, and he says he's liking it, so hopefully that's good. You're looking for my review of Kill the Farm Boy? Thanks. I have such high expectations, but I'm trying to go in with low expectations because I'm not sure if I'm going to like it or not. I'm like trying to go in with low expectations because, I mean, they say it's similar to Terry Pratchett, and I really love Terry Pratchett's sense of humor, so I'm like hoping I love it. Hope. Anyway. But I'm also trying to lower my expectations because I don't think anything can live up to the hype that I'm building in my own brain. Oh yeah, I'm glad you guys are excited about the vlog. I'm really, really happy with it so far, and I'm trying to make it interesting. It's not going to be as interesting as other people's vlogs where they are showing interesting things that they do, because I don't do anything interesting. Like, people have such beautiful reading vlogs. Mine is just going to be like me talking to the camera most of the time, but hopefully you still like it. I haven't read any Kevin Hearn yet, but Chris has, and he likes him, and my brother has, and he loves Kevin Hearn. I'm super excited to get to it, though, and I'm excited to continue on with my reading. So my plans for the week are mostly just to read All of a Tree Grows in Brooklyn, and then everything else is like candy. Like, everything else, it will be great, but I really need to get through that book. That's like my biggest goal. It's like, I must finish it, and then hopefully I just read like a book a day almost every other day. That would be great. Just little goals, you know. Anyway, I know, but even if they're not doing anything interesting, they still like set it up and do interesting shots and stuff like that. Like, I'm trying a little bit, but it's not gonna be great. Hopefully you just like hearing me talk about what I like to read and what I am currently reading, and complaining about my books and stuff, which I think you guys do, or you wouldn't watch me at all, because that's what I do. Anyway, I guess that's it for today. Thanks so much for live streaming with me and joining me. This is always so much fun, and when I thought I wouldn't have time to maybe do it today, I got really sad. Oh, you know what? I forgot to do the most important part of my makeup. The end. All 13 of you will love it. Excellent. Alright, so anyway, thanks so much. I hope you guys have an awesome week. Get lots of reading done. Good luck, Melody, with getting those books done. And same with you, Libby. Good luck getting all those library books finished. Which setting spray do I use? This is... It looks like it's the Wet n Wild Photo Focus. It's actually not. I just like the spritzer. It's actually the one from Essence. I think it's the only setting spray they have. The spritzer is horrible. The product itself is really good and makes my makeup stay on like crazy. So that's the one that I use. It's the Essence one. It's like I think it's like $4. And it's amazing. Alright. I will see you all next week, and the reading vlog is going to be insanely repetitive because you will already have seen it all, but hopefully you enjoy anyway. Alright. I will see you all next week and maybe over the next few days in a vlog. Bye everyone!